Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Accelerating Pole Shift Due to Planet X-Induced Planetary Expansion. Now, in Article 552 entitled Magnetic Pole Shift Indicates End Time Cataclysm Accelerating, I wrote about the fact that the shift in the Earth's magnetic North Pole is associated to the coming to Earth of objects belonging to the Planet X or destroyer system, which are the cores of what were once living planets and moons surrounded by a debris field, which is made up of the broken pieces of what was once the outer layers of the objects. The accelerating pole shift then also suggests that more of these objects are arriving and causing the increasingly cataclysmic end-time events prophesied in the Bible. And you can see how the Earth's magnetic North Pole has shifted, and it's accelerated its shift after 1994. You can see that that's where it was in 1964, 1994, and then in a period of 6 years to 2000, suddenly moved this huge distance. So you can see that it accelerated after 1994. But this started way before then, because you can see the position in 1831 and the position in 1904 is very close. So it hardly moved in 73 years. But then between 1904 and 1948, it suddenly moved a large distance in a period of 44 years. So you can see that the acceleration in the shift in the shifting of the Earth's north magnetic pole actually started about 115 years ago. Now, here we have these objects that are causing these huge changes in the solar system, and they come in as comets, and this is one in the sun's corona. The ones that go to the sun or are able to absorb energy from the sun are likely to be dead stars. They were once living stars, and now all the material that used to surround the core is a debris field, and what's left is the core, which then makes connections with the sun and absorbs energy from it. And here's one in the Earth's atmosphere. This is likely to be a much smaller object, one that was once either a planet or a moon, and is now a planetary core or planetary moon. Now, these objects absorb energy from the Earth by inducing matter creation events in the core, which then results in volcanic eruptions. And this is illustrated in this diagram. So you have a living celestial object with a living core. It has a liquid layer beyond the core, just above the core, and it's made of magma because the core creates matter in the form of magma. Now here's the dead object, its dead core and its debris field, but it retains a strong electric field, and this electric field will be able to penetrate into the Earth, and it will affect the magma that is in this region. And what it will do is it may interrupt the flowing of the magma, which may have been flowing towards the surface. It would tend to flow towards the surface because of the Earth's own internal electric field. It will follow that direction. But with this field now counteracting it, this magma flow would tend to either slow, stop, or even reverse its direction. That would cause an instability in the core, and that then leads to the core creating matter. It violently releases photon energy, which then gets converted to magma, and the explosion causes the newly created magma and magma above it to explode towards the surface, leading to a volcanic eruption or an earthquake. And then you may look at Article 542 for more details on that. Then the release of gravitational energy and the conversion of it to mass leads to an increase in the Earth's mass and in the Earth expanding. This seems to have occurred at the Great Flood event, but it was so dramatic that the Earth's radius sharply increased in just a few months, causing the flood level to drop and oceans to appear. And this is explained by Klaus Vogel's models of an expanding Earth, which suggests that the Earth was once much smaller and that it had no ocean. With no oceans and on a much smaller Earth, the continents fit exactly. And his model can even explain why the southern continents are more widely dispersed than the northern continents, and why the northern continents move more westward relative to the southern continents. And it has all to do with their original positions. You can see the northern continents were closer to the North Pole than the southern continents were close to the South Pole. And so an expansion would cause them to separate as they did. And you may look at Article 516 for more details. Since the Planet X system objects continue to enter the solar system after the Great Flood event and to induce periodic volcanic eruptions, such as the one which occurred in Krakatoa in 1883, the Earth would be expected to continue to expand, but at a much lower rate. In addition, the Earth would be expected to increase its expansion in the last 115 years, as the number of objects affecting the Earth has sharply increased, and this is most likely what has given rise to the shift in the Earth's magnetic North Pole. It is not likely that this shift could have been caused by another object's own magnetic field, because the Earth rotates, and so this object would have had to rotate with the Earth, remaining on one side of the Earth for many years in order to cause such a shift, which is extremely unlikely. Dead stellar cores can rotate with the Earth for extended periods of time of a few days or hours, but not years, and certainly not for 115 years. The Earth's core is not likely to be solid, but to be made of liquid plasma. However, magnetic fields which are generated by electric currents tend to remain uniform within an object simply because of the magnetic field's tendency to align to other magnetic fields. Thus, all the material in the core would tend to maintain the established magnetic field orientation, and magnetic fields in all Earth layers would tend to align to the Earth's core's magnetic field. Thus, the shifting of the magnetic North Pole, especially since it is not accompanied by a similar shift in the magnetic South Pole, points to a profound change in the Earth's core. Since this change must be associated to the Planet X objects and the matter creation events which they induce, and thus in the likely expansion of the Earth, it could be due to the Earth's expansion not being uniform. And this is illustrated here, how the Earth's expansion could explain the movement of the North Pole, which started somewhere here in Canada and has shifted in this direction. It has now crossed the Greenwich meridian, this red line, the 180-degree longitude line. And if the Earth had expanded more on this side than on that side, then it would have caused the North Pole to shift towards that side, because the Earth would have gotten a lot larger on that side than on that side. So the North Pole would tend to move in that direction. And in addition, because the South Pole has not shifted by even close to the same amount as the North Pole, this would also suggest that the Southern Hemisphere has not had as much expansion as the Northern Hemisphere. So we would then be left with the northeastern half hemisphere having expanded much more than the other parts of the Earth. And that would be from about here around there, that half of an hemisphere, and it encompasses half the northern Pacific Ocean, the part close to Japan, Asia, most of Europe, Indonesia, and Japan, where indeed we do seem to see most volcanic eruptions occurring. And of course, the expansion and the eruptions are related. One leads to the other. In addition, as the Earth uses its stored gravitational energy to create matter and expand, the core's positive electric charge and electric field would be likely to decrease, resulting in its magnetic magnetic field strength also dropping, thus explaining why the Earth's magnetic field strength seems to have been dropping for quite some time now. So in conclusion, the accelerating shift in the Earth's magnetic north pole suggests that profound changes are occurring in the Earth's core. These changes would be expected to lead to the Earth expanding, as it seems to have done at an accelerated rate during the flood event, and likely continued to do, but at a slower rate afterwards. This expansion rate has most likely increased in the last 115 years and can explain the observed magnetic pole shift if the expansion was greater where most volcanic eruptions are occurring, in other words, in the Earth's northwestern hemisphere. In addition, the Planet X object's effect of inducing matter creation in the Earth's core would also explain the decreasing strength in the Earth's magnetic field. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.